Hi guys. So chapters 3 and 4 I'm going to read now. The rise of Greece. By the end of the Dark Age, the Greeks had built many villages centered around a high hilltop called an acropolis. The farms and villages surrounding each acropolis joined to form a city-state. Each city-state ruled itself and had its own customs. By 700 BC, hundreds of independent city-states had formed. The two most powerful city-states were Athens and Sparta. We've got a map that's got Macedonia, Olympia, all those places on it. Athens and Sparta. Athens was a city-state located slightly inland from the Aegean Sea. Athens built a port called Piraeus. This port allowed Athens to launch its powerful navy and trade ships. Long walls joined Athens and Piraeus. Athenians welcomed new ideas and customs. They believed that a city-state should serve all of its citizens. They created a new type of government called a democracy. Each free male citizen in Athens could vote on laws and choose leaders. Women and slaves could not vote. An assembly made governmental decisions. Sparta was located 150 miles, 241 kilometers, from Athens. Mountains around Sparta protected the city-state. Spartans were different from Athenians. Spartans wanted no contact with outsiders. They were against change. Sparta's government was also different from Athens' government. 2 kings and a council of elders ruled Sparta. Only rich people served on the council. Each Greek city-state formed an army. In Athens, men ages between 17 and 59 were required to serve in the military. Sparta's society was based on the military. Every adult male was a full-time soldier. Soldiers were not allowed to work at other jobs. Pictures. Piraeus. Ship sailed from Athens port Piraeus. Long walls connected Piraeus to Athens. The Persian Wars. Persia was a large empire east of Greece. The Persians' territory covered much of Asia and the Middle East. King Darius I of Persia wanted to rule Greece. In 490 BC, Darius's army landed at the village of Marathon, northwest of Athens. An army of 10,000 Athenians were marched to Marathon to face 60,000 Persians. Athens defeated them in a surprise victory. 10 years later, Darius' son Xerxes returned to Greece. He brought an army of 200,000 men. Athens and Sparta led a united army of all Greek city-states. After fighting for a year, the Greeks defeated Persia. Their victory in 479 BC kept the Persians from taking over Europe. The Gold Age of Athens. After the Persia Wars, Athens entered its Golden Age. During this period, Athens reached its peak of power. The Greeks enjoyed great achievements in art, science, and government during this time. Pericles was the leader of Athens from 461 to 429 BC. He supported democracy. He also started a system of payment for government service. The earlier system did not pay government workers. Only rich people could afford to serve in the government. The new system of payment allowed anyone to earn a living by working at a government job. Pericles planned to make Athens a model for other cities. He helped build a strong navy. Athens became wealthy through trade in other lands. Athens was also a model for art and culture. The government supported the work of architects, artists, and writers. Chapter 4. Fall from Power. After the Greeks beat Persia, many Greek city-states joined together. They agreed to protect each other. This alliance was known as the Delian League. Delian League members contributed ships or money to the league. They kept the money in the Delian League treasury. People in Athens began taking the league's money. Athens' government made decisions for the league. Athens used the money to build temples and new colonies. They built a large and powerful empire throughout the Mediterranean. The Peloponnesian War. For many years, Sparta and Athens were rivals. The two city-states did not trust each other. Athens wanted to spread democracy, freedom, and self-rule. Sparta was afraid that Athens' power would reach too far. Other Greek city-states were also unhappy with Athens. They were upset that they were taking money away from the Delian League. In 431 BC, Sparta declared war on Athens. For 27 years, Athens and Sparta and their allies fought in the Peloponnesian War. Athens finally surrendered in 404 BC. Alexander the Great. In 359 BC, Philip II became the king of Macedonia. Philip wanted to rule the Persian Empire. He asked the Greeks to help him defeat Persia. In return, he would let them govern themselves. In 336 BC, before Philip could organize on his attack with Persia, he was killed. His son, Alexander, became king at the age of 20. A strong military leader, he became known as Alexander the Great. In 334 BC, Alexander led an army of Macedonians and Greeks. They attacked Persia. In 3 years, he defeated the Persian king. Alexander's army later conquered Egypt, western Persia, and western India. He also conquered the countries now known as Afghanistan and Pakistan. Alexander found many military colonies in the lands he conquered. These settlements helped provide supplies for his armies. After his death in 323 BC, Alexander's generals fought to control his empire. They divided Greece into 3 kingdoms. The Hellenistic Age. The Greek language was spoken in Alexander's colonies. The colonists copied Greek architecture, law, and art. They studied Greek science and philosophy. The most famous city Alexander founded was Alexandria, Egypt. It became the world's most important center of trade and learning. After Alexander's death, the power of the Greek cities-states faded, but the rulers of Greek kingdoms promoted Greek culture. Elements of Greek culture spread from the southern, present-day France to what is now known as northern Afghanistan. This period is known as the Hellenistic Age. The Roman Empire. Around 275 BC, the Romans defeated the Hellenistic king Pyrrhus in Italy. Rome gradually took over other kingdoms. It conquered Sicily in 241 BC and Spain in 201 BC. Rome began conquering other areas. By 31 BC, Rome defeated the last Greek kingdom. It was the end of the Hellenistic Age. This is a statue of Athena, and then a statue of Alexander the Great, and a coin featuring Alexander the Great. After conquering the Greeks, the Roman Empire grew. The Romans adopted the best ideas of the people they conquered. The Romans used Greek styles in literature and architecture. They modeled many public buildings after Greek temples. The Romans based their government on some of Greece's democratic ideas. Rome fell in AD 400s. The Visigoths, a tribe from Germany in northern Europe, defeated the last Roman emperor. Rome's influence faded. Europeans once again took interest in Greek culture in AD 1400s and 1500s. This period was known as the Renaissance. Classical ideas of ancient Greek influenced artists, writers, and architects. For 300 years after the Renaissance, Europe developed colonies around the world. The Europeans spread these classical ideas to the colonies. Greek culture continued to thrive. That's that for those ones.